So on Tumblr, there's this blog called Terrible Miraculous Ladybug AUs, meaning alternate universes, which a lot of people submit prompts or they come up with prompts, and one of them, as I was scrolling through, I saw was, Nino works in a coffee shop, but he's a terrible barista and it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And, that really struck home with me because I work in a coffee shop and I am particularly terrible about my job to the point that I probably should have been let go. So some of my personal experiences are tied into this, but I didn't make it as funny as it could have been for my own pride's sake. So with that said, please enjoy Nino, the coffee shop employee. No, this isn't Starbucks. You can't ice a cappuccino. Nino closed his eyes and twisted his face, remembering that to get foam you have to steam milk. Oops, he said, turning to the customer. We could do an iced latte? Thankfully, the girls ordering found his shrug cute. Otherwise, he'd be in even more hot water. He'd worked at this coffee shop for 6 weeks now, and was still messing up on basic espresso questions. He didn't even drink coffee. Why was he working here? The door jingled as he listened to his manager explain the difference between a latte and a cappuccino again, and saw Alia. The sight lightened his mood a bit, and he gave her a small wave. That's right. His girlfriend loved coffee, and he wanted to learn more about what she liked, even if he couldn't keep it straight. That, and she was far more snuggly when he went to her place after working a shift. She told him repeatedly that all of his clothes smell amazing after a day of brewing coffee and pulling espresso shots. Nino, seriously! He turned back to see coffee dripping over the back counter. Oh no. What did he do now? He grabbed a towel as the manager stopped the brew cycle with a huff. What happened? He asked. You left the stem in the air pot, sealing the entryway. Oh. Yep, that was bad. Oops. I'll clean it up. Grabbing a few more towels, Nino tried to ignore the passive-aggressive mutter aimed his way. He was only an hour into a shift, and he'd already messed up 2 orders, broken a plate in the sink, and now ruined a brew worth 15 or so cups of coffee. Clearly he wasn't cut out for this, and it's a miracle he still had the job. Of course, the day wasn't over yet. The regulars came and went, delighting his day with tidbits of old people humor, and before he knew it, it was time for Nino to close down the shop. Well, at least start to. There was an hour left until he had to lock the doors, but certain things could get done ahead of time. As he was taking the cinnamon rolls out of the case, he noticed the blueberry muffins thawing and had a tremendous lapse of judgment. He reached over the Moan and Flavor bottles, forgetting they were made of glass, to grab the muffins, and his apron snagged on the blackberry syrup. The color drained out of his face as a row of bottles crashed to the floor, splashing into a sugary cocktail of bright scents and muddled colors. Nino! Was this it? Was this the moment he finally got fired? Free of employment without having to turn in a 2 weeks' notice? Go get the broom. Huh? Oh, yeah, they were in front of customers. At least he wouldn't get fired in the midst of a scene. Actually, grab the mop bucket while you're at it. I don't want to waste towels on this. His manager sighed, shaking her head in dismay. He rushed to the back room with flushed cheeks. How bad was this mess-up? 6 bottles of syrup at about €12 apiece was $72 a product. How much potential did he test gravity on? A flavor shot was €1 apiece, and a tall drink had an ounce in it. There were almost 34 ounces in a bottle, multiplied by 6 bottles. Then that was over 200 euros of gross sales wasted and 130 or so euros of pure profit. Ouch. It took him a lifetime to sweep up the glass and mop up the sticky mess. Any part of him that got syrup on him was black now, dirt clinging to its new home on his body. Nino tried to take his mind off the fact that there was no way he'd last another week at this job by humming his favorite Taylor Swift songs, remixing them in his head with Legend of Zelda motifs. He was sure it'd be a more popular track once he got it right, but that was a tangent to go into another time. "Are you taking any of this?" his manager asked, cutting off his thoughts and pointing to the air pots. Nino glanced at the clock. 6 p.m. This was it. This was the moment he'd been waiting for. "Yeah, I'll take the coffee home." They'd dump it otherwise. He didn't care, but he'd be going to his girlfriend's place after this and knew she would want some. Rather, Alia would be ecstatic. Today's flavor was Highlander grog, her favorite. He could bring home the beans whenever he wanted with his employee discount, but it was nice to bring home a liter that she could ice and enjoy the next day. It always made him feel like a nice boyfriend for the excellent price of 0 euros. It took him until 7 to finish cleaning up, but Nino whistled happily as he flicked off the lights and put the jug of now warm but not hot coffee in his bike's basket. It was his time now, and he wanted to enjoy every minute of it. Besides, he was sure he'd be back tomorrow to wreak havoc, just like today. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like any more one-shots, you can click this playlist, or you can just subscribe to this channel to stay up to date on the latest parts of narrated fanfiction. I'll catch you next time.